Jam Miller, the running back. Cuevas, the motion man. Simpson. And the ball is out. And LSU has it. Harold Perkins wound up with the football.
And we say good morning to you back with Tigers Roar. Buddy Sanji in the house here. We are in our temporary studios over here at Pelican Sports TV, so bear with us as we make some changes with our radio and TV studios. Hope everybody doing well. It is a gorgeous day. By the way, it is November 12th, the Wednesday. Taping Tigers Roar. We want to give a shout out to all of those veterans. Yesterday, of course, was Veterans Day. We couldn't do it without you, and you give us an opportunity to live in this country with our freedom. And as always, we appreciate each and every one of you who have served this country, and we hope that you give your regards and respects to all of those military folks and veterans that have laid down the land for us to enjoy the great independence that we have in this country. It's been a couple weeks since we've had Tigers Roar, as we said, a little bit of a transition, and it has been wild and wacky and crazy. I know most of you realize what has happened in the last couple of weeks is pretty much unprecedented with LSU football history. Obviously, after the tough loss, Brian Kelly a couple of weeks ago did not meet the media right out of the gate. A long meeting with Scott Woodward. And invariably, BK got fired. There is a lawsuit now talking about some of the particulars. We'll get into that a little bit, but getting you up to snuff, BK no longer there. And then, as we know, Scott Woodward and LSU parting ways. And so it is now interim coach Frank Wilson. They will play Arkansas on Saturday morning at 11:45. And this is a very dangerous game. Once again, Taylon Green, the quarterback from Arkansas, is an excellent runner. He's having a good year offensively. Defensive coordinator Blake Baker is certainly once again going to be put in a position where they're going to have to do a better job of tackling the quarterback and doing a better job with the run-pass options. Arkansas has lost a lot of close games, but they are scoring a ton of points. And speaking of offense, we get back and recap the Alabama game a little bit. By the way, in our studios, I will be solo today, so you'll have to look at me and listen to me for this hour. Later on, we'll also have Chris Powers and his show taped. And, of course, as always, appreciate Marty Campbell, our cameraman, Jonathan Poche, our producer, as we try to give you a little content here. Wrapping up the Alabama game, coulda, woulda, shoulda. If you listen to us on radio, then we tell you that we predicted this, and it's just something about the SEC and officiating. And let's get right into some of these replays. And right out of the gate, JP dials it up for you. First possession of the game, LSU with a fourth down stop. There you see Whit Weeks getting everybody fired up. His brother Wes Weeks played an excellent game. Here is Nussmeier once again early on with the little dink and dunk. And, of course, Nuss, they did some things, folks, to get Nuss out of the pocket. Rolled him out a little bit. He did still have some brain farts, as we know. We'll get into some of that. But the early short game with passing, the problem is, of course, is that here you go. You drive all the way down the field, and Damian Ramos misses a chip shot field goal. He's looking at Grant Chadwick, the holder. Wasn't a great snap, so no score right out of the gate. And here we go, Alabama with a big completion over the middle. They will go down invariably. There's Harold Perkins, statistically played his best game in a while, had 9 tackles, a sack, a strip fumble, and recovered that fumble. Perk played better. LSU defense, you got to give them credit. Now, be cognizant of the fact that this was not a run-pass option guy. But here you go. Once again, another bit of the jailbreak screen. And dink and dunk, but Bauer Sharp again. The ball knocked out of his hands. Bauer Sharp I hate to tell you, 10, you have been a really big disappointment. He's not done a good job of blocking, and he's had more than a couple fumbles. Here we go. Harlan Berry with the best run of the game. Tigers, once again, meager numbers with the rush yardage, but Harlan Berry is definitely doing great things as a freshman running back. Once again, Nuss back here and going into the end zone, and that was broken up. So obviously the Tigers are going to get on the board here and tie this game up at 3-3 with Damian Ramos making a field goal. Look, Nuss was 18 for 21. There you see, he's involved. He's trying to lead this team. And here we go as LSU gives up a touchdown inside on the run game. Alabama takes a 10-3 lead with the PAT. Back to Nuss, 18 for 21 for 121 yards. A little bit of a trick play here, throwing back on the backside. Of course, LSU came back here. And one of the mistakes that Frank Wilson did make in this game is that right before half, he did not soak the clock down. They threw it on third down, probably should have run it, but Frank, for the most part, did a really good job on the interim coach, has all the former players back, and once again, now Alabama gets into the end zone, and that was a killer right before the half. As we said, LSU, if they would have just ran the football, they would have gotten to the 2-minute warning. Instead, they threw it, and they scored with 22 seconds left and had a 17-3 deficit in the second half. Once again, Tigers are having the same problem. I predicted 27-19 with 4 field goals. They made 3 field goals. Nick Anderson, by the way, got hurt on that play, and he is a guy that is probably doubtful for this weekend. Once again, LSU going down the field, but as we know with Nuss, he's not had a lot of escapability, but they're rolling him out here. And here he is, scrambling a little bit, and just doesn't have great pocket presence. This is the one penalty, folks, they called on Alabama. One freaking penalty the whole game except until the end. Once again, could not get in the end zone. Tigers are going to end up settling for a field goal, and there you see Carius Kern. And as we know, the offensive line had a rough game again, almost an INT in the interception. JP would tell me they were lucky to get by with that one. And, of course, here's the play that everybody's shaking their heads up to not be able to see. All they had to do was run ahead and dump it off to Juwan Johnson. Had to settle for the field goal, so now we're at 17-6. And there were some things that happened in this game that we'll talk about throughout the rest of the show. Alabama is not great, but they're good, they're functional, they're solid, but not a great Alabama team. And they will find out how good they are as they got Oklahoma coming in this weekend. Back to LSU's offense, and once again, the quick little stuff here. You're asking Bauer Sharp and Trey'Dez Green to block on the outside. It's not a good recipe. You should know by now that that's not going to bring you anything. Nice completion there. As we said, the Tigers would get down to the 5, the 10, the 7, and just didn't have the right play calls. Obviously, here we go. This is the big sack in the strip, and Harold Perkins. That's the Harold Perkins that we saw. That's the Harold Perkins we saw as a freshman. Really has been hard to find this year, but as you see, he strips Ty Simpson from the football and not only gets it, but recovers it, so LSU takes over. They're still in this ball game, folks, 17-6. Nuss goes back, and lo and behold, Michael Van Buren comes in. And after that sack, you know you wanted to inject some juice, some passion, and some escapability. Michael Van Buren, once again, has an opportunity to get the Tigers in the end zone, but they'll have to settle for another field goal from Damian Ramos, who was 3 for 4 on the night. But you don't win big games with field goals, folks. Here we come. LSU defense, as always, trying hard. The secondary played better. But lo and behold, we know that this defense has had to carry the load. LSU, once again, not scoring more than 10 points in this game. Controversial play here. Nobody saw the replay. Look, I'm not going to beat up on the SEC officials, but every time you play at Alabama, there are always a litany of calls that could go other way. They did not replay that, and there's the key play of the game right there. Trey'Dez Green could be still running if he catches that ball, drops it, and that's kind of when I all thought that that bank was going to be over. Thought that they might have a targeting call on that as A.J. Halsey came in there and laid the wood. Make a long story short, folks, the highlights were minimal. Once again, LSU struggling on offense. Defense played well, but the Tigers end up losing this football game 20-9. I don't know what the final spread was on the game, whether it was 10.5 or 11, but it was right there where the bookies had put it in there. And let's be honest, now you're talking about 5-4. You're playing for pride. You're playing to get to win enough games for a bowl game. And as always, we tell you that Michael Van Buren is going to get some PT this weekend against Arkansas. Nuss has just lost his confidence. He's lost his pocket poise, and we know that he is a guy that has seen a lot of dollars go down the wayside because of his performance. I know he wants to play all these plays, but he just has regressed in his final year at LSU. Michael Van Buren is going to get better the more he plays, so look for both of those quarterbacks to get action when you see LSU tee it up. Once again, 11:45. We call it the Bourbon and Cheerios game. Get out there, tailgate, get your man the sausage, whatever you're going to. Bloody Mary's coming in at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. Wouldn't be shocked to see 10, 15,000 empty seats in the upper deck for this morning kickoff. LSU playing for pride. If they get to 6, of course, they're bowl eligible. The following week, Western Kentucky gets them to 7 if they win those 2 games. And then Oklahoma, the finale. Looks like that's going to be a very, very tough game on the road. Their defensive line is going to throw LSU's offensive line around like an empty Coke can. Don't forget about our great sponsors, of course, that we have on this show for all of our shows here. On a Wednesday afternoon, Tigers Roar, Buddy Sanji in the house. We'll take a quick time out, come back, let you hear from Frank Wilson, some of the players. Got a little Saints talk. How about the Saints picking up victory number 2? Shuck really looked good. His best performance by far. Played good defense. We'll get into more of that. I hope all of you doing well, enjoying this weather. A couple cold days, but we've got the sun back out. Enjoy the weekend, and we come back right here on another edition of Pelican Sports TV right here with Tigers Roar. Back right after that.
Designed to take you where you want to go, when you want to go. Get 1.9% financing for 60 months on a new Mazda CX-50. Named an IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus Award winner. Choose from over 40 CX-50s right now and save at Team Mazda on Airline.
When I started this practice over 35 years ago, I had one goal: to treat every patient like family. And over the years, I've watched kids grow up in this office, come back as parents, and now I'm seeing their kids in the same chair. That kind of trust, it's not something we take for granted. This isn't just where we do dentistry, it's where we make people feel at home. Frugier Family Dentistry, where you're treated like family. Call or visit FrugierFamilyDentistry.com to schedule.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
All right, folks, we welcome you back to another edition of Tigers Roar. We're throwing this together for you on this gorgeous Wednesday morning, November the 12th. Of course, a lot has happened. Look, it's been a surreal year. I've been following the LSU beat and in the media. This is my 38th football season, and I don't ever remember the crazy stuff that has happened. Who would have thought that BK would not make it and get fired, and then Scott Woodward got fired? Of course, everybody knows about the politics, the governor. I will say this. I talked to people. Of course, they brought in Wade Roos as the new president, and I am getting some good reviews on him. Had a major faux pas as they went through a day or two before they established that Virgil Osbury is the full-time AD now. Got to tell you a quick little story. My partner in crime, JP, right when BK got fired, says, buddy, there's no doubt. It's a no-brainer. The first call I'd make would be to Nick Saban. And I said, JP, I understand where you're going there. By the way, he was right. I was wrong. They called Nick Saban and offered him a 3-year contract making $20 million a year, $60 million for 3 years. If Nick Saban came over here, it would automatically take a lot of these public relation problems away. But look, Miss Terry is not going to let her 74-year-old husband do that. The kids wouldn't want it. He's set up at Alabama. He's making more money than he's ever had to make, and he's not having to deal with these young guys in the portal. All this money, the landscape of college football is absolutely crazy. So now you say, well, if it's not Nick Saban, who could it be? Well, it could be Lane Kiffin, but a lot of people think that Lane Kiffin is either going to stay at Ole Miss or go somewhere else. He sees all of the craziness, all of the politics. We have had rumors of them offering Lane Kiffin a big-time contract in the $14 million range for 5 or 6 years. But he's got a team that's going into the playoffs. This is the problem, folks, with hiring a coach right now, is that it is not easy. You have the early signing period on December 3rd, 4th, and 5th. They've already lost an edge rush commit, and so other recruits that are verbally committed are now taking visits. So it's a very tumultuous time right now. But have no fear. I know that the LSU brand is momentarily and temporarily, I guess you could say, damaged a little bit. But if you get the right coach in here, he can win. My favorite is Jeff Brom from Louisville. He's done a good job. You saw him lead Louisville to an upset over Miami earlier on the year. He's an offensive guy. He's a play caller. And as our buddy Pete Cardelli told us on the radio show, he demands toughness. That would be a guy that would get a look-see. And so you'll probably go through the list, but have no fear. It's never been simple, folks. Jerry DiNardo got beat at Vanderbilt by Tennessee 65-0 and ended up getting this job. Les Miles had a rough go of it his final years at Okie State. He ended up being the coach. Of course, Coach O was an interim coach and got the gig after Les Miles was fired. It's never been easy with LSU. There's always politics. There's always a crazy scenario. And so you're just going to have to take your patience pills and just to wait to see who ends up being the next football coach at LSU. My deadline is the Monday after the regular season, which would be December 1. Oh, by the way, in case you have lived this football season the way I have, where has it gone? I know it's been slow in respect of waiting to have the joy. It has been tough to watch. The Saints finally got their second victory. Southern's got one win and has fired their coach. LSU struggling at 5-4, and of course a new coach. And then, of course, you got the transfer portal that starts January 2nd through the 16th. So a lot's going to happen fast. Nothing you and I can do about it. Just sit tight. You hope that they get the right coach in here. And I think everybody certainly knows the situation with BK and LSU. A lot of legal posturing going on. The legal guys that I've talked to said that this thing will get settled before they go to court. LSU doesn't want to go to court. Brian Kelly doesn't want to go to court. I'm not going to beat up Coach Kelly. Him and I always got along, but he certainly checked out and did not do the things that is expected of the LSU coach. And, of course, he filed suit against LSU and the state of Louisiana. We'll see how all of that comes out. But he's going to get a bunch of money. And I don't care who you're dealing with. You've got to minimize these buyouts. You've got to make the right decision. It's a crazy game because the agents like Jimmy Sexton and Trace Armstrong have all the leverage. So sit tight, and what we're going to do next is let you hear from the interim coach, Frank Wilson. He's done a good, solid job. He's got all the former players coming back. That's the first thing he did. BK was not a welcome mat for the former players. You ask a lot of former players, and they didn't know him. They shook his hand but didn't really know him. He didn't remember a lot of names. So good riddance. Notre Dame people, Cincinnati people told you. We know that they spent a lot of money. Unfortunately, none of the transfer portal guys have worked out. Yeah, Mansour Delane is fantastic. He's going to be one of the few Tigers to make either the first or second SEC team when the season's over. Same thing with A.J. Halsey, but a lot of disappointments with the rest of the group. And I guess Braylon Moore, the center, has also been an excellent pickup. Grant Chatwick at the punter, a good pickup, and Michael Van Buren, the backup, who came in for Nussmeier. Expect him to play a little bit more this weekend. Saturday morning, we call it the Bourbon and Cheerios game with LSU hosting Arkansas at 11:45 this Saturday morning. Here we go, a little listen with Frank Wilson. He's well-spoken, and as always, we'll come back, take a break, and get into more. But here is Frank Wilson on a Wednesday edition of Tigers Roar right here on Pelican Sports TV.
With that being said, as we turn the page from Alabama, you know, there were some things that I stood before you and I asked of our team and said that we would do in regard to physicality, toughness, never say die mentality. I think our team displayed that throughout the game. I thought that they went into the game with anticipation of winning. I think they believed they could win all the way until there was no time left on the clock. I thought we started fast. You know, our defense goes out and plays the style of play that we desire, that have been the standard here for so long. We get them in a second and third situation, give up a yard or two, get them in a 3rd and 1 situation, we stuff them. Get them in a 4th and 1 situation, we stuff them. So from a kickoff coverage unit that didn't let it get outside the 25 special teams to a defense that goes out and plays stellar and goes 4 and out with 3 downs of playing 2 or less, I thought was fantastic by our defensive unit. The offense gets the ball and we march it down the field. We get the ball into the red zone area. And give ourselves an opportunity to get points on the board, and we don't convert. But pleased with the drive, and okay, we could do this. We're in a good rhythm. We're in a good place. Defense comes back out, plays spectacular again. We get an opportunity on 3rd and 6. We pick up about 12 to 15, and the ball comes loose, and so we give the opponent a short field where they go up 3-0. We go back and forth and we get to the back end of the half with the score being a touchdown or a possession away. It's 10-3 with 2 minutes and 28 seconds left. And so here's what happens. I say to our football team, I say to media, I say to anybody who would listen, we're going to try to win this game. We're not going there for a moral victory and hope that we can stay with them. We're going to try to win the game. And so with 2:20 and change left and down by 7, we try to get started to get a 2-minute drill going for our football team. I thought, you know, first down we pick up 2-3 yards, Second down, I thought we had a good call. We didn't convert. Third down, I think we got even a better call. They're exactly where we thought they would be. It's the exact defensive call we anticipated, and we don't convert there, unfortunately. And so we punt the ball away to the minus 34. We flip the field for our opponent, who now has 56 seconds left with no timeouts, and feel confident that we could keep them on that side of the field. They come down and they get points, and so now we go into halftime with the score as such. Here's what we say to our football team when I stood before them. We're going to get the ball back as an offense. We're going to march down the field, and we're going to get points. That's going to happen, all right? And so this middleweight that we talk about, the end of the third quarter, the beginning of the fourth quarter, where we tried to steal a possession, get points, and then get it back in the third would have been pivotal for us. And so so you go for it, right? And that's a part of it. That's the risk. That's the risk. It's no different than faking a punt, a kickoff. Well, it's not going to work on the other side, the 50. The only way it works is if it's at your minus 28, when they don't anticipate. It's the element of surprise, right? And if you get it, it's fantastic. If you don't get it, it's questioned, right? So we don't get it before half, and so I question myself. I should have ran it. I shouldn't have did this. And then you come back and you watch the film, and you talk to the kids, and you see when you look in their eyes, their want to, we did the right thing. We were supposed to go for it, and that's a part of it, all right? And so it's an 8-point game into the fourth quarter with the game very much in the balance and opportunity for us to secure victory. We certainly had our opportunities to do so. The difference, in my opinion, in the game, they had 4 or 5 explosive plays of 20-plus yards. We had 2. We kicked field goals. They scored touchdowns off of those explosive plays. Our game plan was to be methodical, to keep our defense fresh, to mount momentum, to go score for our offense. We win the time of possession game. We win the rushing game. You take out the 38, 40 yards and sacks. I'm talking about handoffs to the backs and to our run game. We do those things for us, for our football team, to put us in position to win. And so a defense can play stellar in respect to complementary football when they play 60 snaps, 62 snaps, opposed to 85 or 90 snaps that we have put them in a position to do at the same time, and so does the offense. So we both had about the same amount of opportunities, give or take 3 to 5 plays or so. And the game plan unfolds the way that we anticipated. The difference is we have to find a way in this week to be better and from the 20 in. And so that is our charge. I like our football team. I like the things that we did. I think it's something to build on. It's always a tough challenge. I don't care if it was the Millennium game and it was 3-6, 6-9, whatever it was, those of you who were there, whether it was 2019 and a big lead that came back or everything in between. That game is going to be what it is, and it's tough sledding to go in there against one of the premier programs in the country. But I think the difference is not that great. And so our charge is to build on those things we did not do well to allow us to go into this week to fix it. And it'll start today in our corrections as we view this film and put it behind us after today. All right, so we'll open up the questions about it or move to Arkansas as you guys see fit.
Hey, Frank. Who will be your starting quarterback against Arkansas, Michael or Garrett?
Yeah, for the quarterback position, I thought both of them did some good things. I thought both of those guys did things that need to be improved upon. I thought Garrett at times was spectacular. He started off red hot. He did some really good things for us. I felt at the back end we needed a spark and something to get us going and add another dimension to our game. I thought Michael stepped in and gave those things to us as a football team. As of now, nothing has drastically changed in how we have flowed. Outside of the fact, like last week, I'll say to you, we're going to use everything that we have, and both of those guys will play in this game moving forward.
How you doing, Coach Frank? In the previous 2 games to Alabama, the defense allowed 200 yards plus rushing. Against Alabama, they only allowed 56 yards rushing. Was that a direct result of the physical practices that you implemented?
Yeah. You know, I think it played a part in it, right? I thought mindset. It's a mentality type play in your charge. And when we talk about that opening drive that they have, that was 2nd and 3, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. You're talking about three downs against a team that have a couple of first-rounders possibly at offensive line, certainly one for sure, that we were able to get our cleats in the ground, get off the ball, change the line of scrimmage, and not allow them to move us. That's a mindset. That's a want to. That's not talent. That's sheer grit. That's sheer determination. My will against your will, I will not be moved. And so I thought our team did that, and I think the style of practice that we've been having, the way that we've gone about conducting our business, and in this small sample size, now it's only, I guess, 10 days, you know, since our transition, but we have, or so, but we have conscientiously, with purpose and intent, built the mindset to be physical running the ball and to be physical stopping the run as well.
Hey Frank, if I could ask a follow-up on the quarterbacks. So last week you said Garrett was the starter, you'd use them all. Does that change this week during the week as far as maybe how you divvy up reps at practice, who gets 1s and 2s reps?
Yeah, you know, I thought Garrett did well enough at times to still be in position to be the starter as we start and embark upon this week. And so when we go to corrections today and practice tomorrow, he'll be the first guy that goes in.
It's going to be a theme here, I feel. Is there a positive aspect of utilizing both quarterbacks in the same series, even like we've seen in the past?
Yeah, we're you know what? That's a great question, because we're not out on anything. Again, I think if you look at body of work and you isolate it, that's good. That was good. We missed that. We got to be able to get that. And they're both imperfect in that sense. They both brought something to the table that helped this team to go up and down the field. They both have things that they need to continue to work on as well. And so I don't think it's just a clear separation where one is beyond the other, that we'll need both of them. And I think and I know we'll use both of them in this game.
Coach, just to continue the quarterback train, I guess, when you have a guy like Michael in the game, a really mobile quarterback, what does that really open up for any offense, not just yours?
Yeah, you know, I think it makes them account for him, and that you can't, that you have to keep integrity of your rush lanes as a defensive line in pursuit. I think it makes you have another defender account for him if he does get through the first level, if you will, because if not, then it becomes a tremendous gain, a huge gain, opposed to that person being in coverage. And so I think there's tremendous validity into having a guy that can extend plays with his legs, or even have direct quarterback design runs that they have to account for.
And there is Coach Frank Wilson. He is the interim coach. I think you're probably going to see a little bit more coaching. Look, he was not that passionate on the sidelines until he had to chew on Garrett Nussmeier. And, of course, in case you're wondering why we're wearing the sunglasses, we always wear the sunglasses after a loss. And so it's been tough sledding here. LSU, folks, you got to understand, this was a tough year with the schedule. You finally get over the hump to beat Clemson on the road, but then you get beat at Ole Miss, then you get beat at Vandy, and then, of course, Alabama and the officials take care of LSU 20-9. You would think after all these years that I would handle the blatant cheating, but when you're late in the fourth quarter, and LSU's had 10 penalties and Alabama's had just one. And the only reason they called it is because Garrett Nussmeier got his head turned around and the helmet came off. And so, look, you got to beat a lot of people, but the SEC always has to protect their money. And so Georgia and Alabama are in the top 5. Of course, we know Texas A&M is sitting at number 3. Are they going to grab the throat? We'll see. And then don't forget Ole Miss at 7 after last night's CFP poll. And, of course, once again, Texas and Oklahoma sitting at 10 and 11. So SEC well represented. Probably going to get 4, maybe 5 into the final 12 with the CFP. But LSU right now hoping to get better. Want to see more of Michael Van Buren. In case you missed it, Ori Williams came in for Weston Davis at right tackle. Paul Mubinga came in for Cohen Eccles at left guard. And Carius Kern played some left tackle with, of course, Tyree Adams out continuing for another week or two. Wes Weeks played good, but his brother Whit Weeks is still on the mend. That will be a game-time decision, and we'll see if he comes back. But the defense, for the most part, played hard. Only gave up 20 points. LSU's offense is one of the worst we've seen in modern-day history, just having trouble. And, of course, Alex Atkins, by the way, in case you don't know, Alex Atkins now the play caller with the departure and firing of Joe Sloan a couple of weeks ago. Buddy Sanjeev going solo here on a gorgeous Wednesday morning, and we come back with player interviews, some Saints stuff, and more on another edition of Tigers Roar right here on Pelican Sports TV.
Tremonti's has meat, Tremonti's has seafood, Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters, huge wine and liquor selection, beer and all the spices you need, Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats, ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs, 20 flavors of sausage for the grill, daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Few things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements, and that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Emphasizing the commitment to customer and passenger safety, Mazda's proud to have received 8 coveted Top Safety Pick Plus awards from the IIHS for 2025, more than any other brand. Come experience Mazda at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
And we welcome you back on this gorgeous November the 12th, Wednesday afternoon. Listen, LSU basketball ladies are back in action. They have a ton of depth, 8 new players. You're going to love some of the new players, all including Fulwale, Malaysia Fulwale from South Carolina coming over here. Of course, Flau'jae and Michaela Williams. And so Lady Tigers with a couple of bigs they got from the portal, Kate Koval from Notre Dame and Joyner. So they're going to be a lot of fun to watch. Kim Mulkey, once again in year 5, has a loaded team. And Matt McMahon, it's going to take you a little while to get used to some of these new players, but they've got a couple of kids from the portal that are going to help them. A point guard, DJ Thomas from Vegas, Mike Nwoko as a big from Mississippi State. So baseball had a couple of exhibitions, and they look like they're loaded. And so Everybody pointing to the end of this football. What can you salvage? Of course, we've got a couple player interviews, and we're going to let you hear from an offensive guy, Xavier Thomas, and then Harold Perkins. Real quick, folks, look, you got to sit there and hang on and just hope that the Tigers administration can get their act together. As we said, Wade Roos is the new president. Mr. Dalton from Alabama, the new chancellor. And, of course, originally it was up in the air a little bit, but Verge Osbury is the new AD. That makes it good for guys like Jay Johnson, Kim Mulkey, Jay Clark, others that know Verge. He's been around the program for a long time. If you'd have brought in a new AD, it would have really made crazy things. Look, go back to the old Sports Illustrated cover right now, folks. Crazy times at LSU right now. Let's hear from the players, see what they've got to have, as they've not given up, and they have, for the most part, stayed true to Frank Wilson. Once again, big game this weekend, Saturday morning. I know you hate it, but LSU against a dangerous Arkansas team. They're very good on offense, very bad on defense. LSU's going to have to score 30 points to probably win this game. Here we go with a wide receiver and Harold Perkins with interviews this week after the loss to Alabama. Here's Xavier Thomas and Harold Perkins.
Xavier, how would you describe the morale of the team right now?
Brothers, we all locked in, love each other to death. Everything going good, positive.
How do you support and play with whatever quarterback is going to be in the game?
At the end of the day, we know both of the quarterbacks are going to give us a great chance to win the game. And the team believe in both of them, so however it play out, that's how it's going to play out.
What can you get done these last 3 games? What kind of, happiness or, fun that can you have these last 3 games?
Just continue to stay positive, continue to stay close to each other, understanding that we got each other back, win, lose, or draw at the end of the day, and just finish strong. That's really our main goal right now.
Is there a type of challenge to having multiple quarterbacks throw the ball, whether it be between games or in the game situations? Is there an adjustment?
Not really. Both of the quarterbacks are really good quarterbacks. They both know what they're doing when they get out there. They both know how to handle the big stage. They both know how to win games. So as long as we coming out with the win, that's all that matters. And I believe both of them put us in great position to win the game.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, when Michael can break the pocket and extend the play, walk me through as a receiver how you have to, stay in, change your route, extend your route.
I don't think I really focus on that. Like I said, both of the quarterbacks are elite quarterbacks, and I just need to control what I can control, and that's me being the best receiver, being the best wherever I'm at on the field. Just me controlling what I control, that's my main focus right now.
Well, you guys had high hopes for the year. Some things haven't worked out. How are you approaching the last 3 games, and how you feel like the team morale is right now?
I feel like our mindset right now is just staying positive. Our minds could wonder right now. It's not what we want, but we just stand together and finishing strong, not for ourselves, but for our families and the people that's our fans in Tiger Stadium.
How do you feel like the defense played against Alabama, and you feel like you can build on that?
Yeah, I feel like we played consistent. I feel like we definitely could build off it too.
How's preparation this week for another mobile quarterback after struggling a couple weeks ago against 2 mobile quarterbacks? Coach Wilson said this might be the biggest test of all for the defense.
Everybody just focusing on their job. Everybody make sure we do our 1-11. If you in this gap, stay in your gap and don't peek. Make sure we just all being detailed in our job for sure. For real, for real.
Perk, this is a team that had national championship aspirations. Obviously, that seems to be out of the picture at this point. What is this team playing for at this point forward?
Playing for LSU. We're playing for Tiger Nation, and the names on the back of our jerseys.
Could you walk us through your big-time strip sack against Alabama and what you saw? It seemed like you really anticipated that play.
I ain't gonna lie, it really happened fast. I said it was really nothing but God, for real. I was just out there doing my job, just doing my part in the defense, for real, and it just happened like that.
All right, Xavier Thomas, of course, waiting for him to break one on a punt return without a penalty. And Harold Perkins, look, everybody saw he was not giving it all with the back end of BK. And I thought Perk really tried his best, had the sack, had the strip of the fumble, and recovered it. One thing that we know is you better do a good job with Mr. Green, their quarterback. Arkansas's got an excellent running back as well as an excellent wide receiver. They're probably going to score 30-something points. So this LSU offense is going to have to lean on better play from Nussmeier. Everybody asks me all day long, what's happened to Nuss? I don't think anybody knows. He's lost his confidence, and he's just not making the plays that he made last year. We also really expect Alex Atkins in his second week as the play caller to accentuate some of the things they want. Quit trying to make Trez Green a blocker. And the reason they're trying to is that Bauer Sharp has been a big, big disappointment. Number 10 has done a really poor job of blocking this year. Of course, Donovan Green also got a few snaps at tight end, but we'll see what the Tigers have left in the tank. Bobby Petrino, of course, is the interim coach at Arkansas. 2 interim coaches. We all know about Bobby Petrino, and we feel like there are plenty of signs that they're going to bring in the coach from Memphis as their new coach at Arkansas. But here is interim head coach Bobby Petrino. Used to be a head coach until he got caught with the blind and the motorcycle. He's a spicy kind of guy. Let's see what he's got to say, leading you up to LSU Arkansas Saturday morning at 11:45.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to really, is there a lot of changes or not. Defensively, they were much more aggressive, it seemed like. They had brought a lot of pressure, brought a lot of blitz zero and third down situations. Did a good job defending Alabama's offense, and they got good players, and they came after them and were really aggressive. That seemed to be a little bit of a different look than what they have been doing. Offensively, seemed very similar. Seemed like they're still, in their minds want to throw the ball first and run the ball second, and played both quarterbacks, so that was a little bit different. We're familiar with both of them, obviously, from last year. Have a lot of respect for Nussmeier and the way he's played throughout his career. Hasn't had the type of year that he thought he would have, but he's still a really good player. And then we'll have to be ready for both of them.
On an open week this late in the season, is there any, I know you probably won't give us names, but are there chances for guys to move up the depth chart and get some more playing time? I know, there's not much time left in this season, and are any young guys maybe sticking out over the course of the past 2 weeks or week?
Yeah, I think it's just, you're trying to work and get ready for the game and see the guys that have been playing and see the guys that have been in the depth and rotated in and made plays when they're in the game. There's nobody that just jumps out of my mind that says, yeah, we're going to get this young guy in and give him reps now. What's changed that a lot, I think, is the redshirt rules and the 4 games early. And, you actually try to play guys earlier in the year now and see where they're at and then have them redshirt as opposed to save those games for the end of the year. So I don't think anybody that just jumps out of my mind.
I think Frank Wilson was pretty non-committal about the quarterback situation in his post game. What did you see from Van Buren that makes him different, or his traits?
Yeah, I mean, they both can really throw the ball. And we played against Van Buren last year, and he played well against us and did a good job. He's probably quicker to leave the pocket, quicker athletically leaving the pocket to get yards. Not that Nussmeier can't run, because Nussmeier's done a really good job throughout his career running and getting yards too. Van Buren just has a little bit more suddenness and quickness to him. But I'll bet they'll be non-committal the whole week probably and make us prepare for both of them.
Yeah, and then you've seen a lot of all out blitzing and stuff. How's the team in general handle the blitzing, and then maybe the type you'll see from LSU?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what their strategy will be, because we've had a couple teams that we felt would come in and blitz us a lot, and they did for a little bit, and then they went to some drop 8. LSU also plays drop 8, and that causes your quarterback to have to be very disciplined in his progression reads and patient. So it'll be interesting to see which way they lean and which way they go. He's always been kind of a down and distance guy. He does a great job. They're really good on defense, and they're going to come in and try to stop your run first. So we're going to have to find a way to run the ball.
And then their receiving core, really talented, it looks to me like. Can you maybe speak to what you see from their receivers?
Yeah, they got guys that can really run and catch the ball, elevate and turn. So they certainly are, a concern. We've got to make sure that we're where we need to be. Our secondary has been practicing well and working hard at it, and the communication's been good back there. So we're going to have to carry that into the game.
And there is Bobby Petrino. Look, I'm wearing the sunglasses so you guys can't see how bad I look and how old I look, but holy cow, I almost didn't recognize Bobby Petrino. One thing that you can guarantee, they are going to put pressure on the defense, and I think this is the big question that Blake Baker's got to answer in a positive fashion. Do you have some semblance of a better game plan? You didn't take care of Chambliss over at Ole Miss. You didn't take care of Diego Pavia. And obviously anybody that has that run-pass option has been a real pickle for LSU to defend. A lot of the defensive ends have gone too far up and let them run right past them. You got to tackle better. Look, Whit Weeks, as we said, has not been able to put pressure on that foot and that ankle. And so we'll get a better update, but probably questionable. Carius Kern did play. Nick Anderson, by the way, got hurt in the Alabama game. He'll be out this week, and we'll see what his availability is for the rest of the year. Big games in the SEC this weekend, the two that all of us are going to be watching at the LSU and Arkansas, Georgia and Texas. Texas is at Georgia. For a while there, Arch Manning in Texas was stinking it up, but looks like Steve Sarkisian and Arch have gotten on the same page. Interesting game there. And then, of course, Oklahoma at Alabama. Would not shock me to see Oklahoma pull the upset. This is not a great Alabama team. Oklahoma's defensive front is really good, and their defense has been as good as anybody in the country. Let's roll some highlights with the Saints as we wrap up with a little Saints action for you on this Wednesday afternoon. And here we go right out of the gate. Shuck, once again, under pressure, and nice completion here. And look, let's give credit to Shuck and the Saints. They look better on offense, of course. As we know, Juwan Johnson had a touchdown in this game. And here we go. That looks like Alvin Kamara with a nice run. And actually, that's Devin Neal. And, of course, Saints had a decent game with balance on both running the football and passing the football. Bryce Young is just too little, in my opinion, to be a great quarterback, but nice to see the Saints with a big sack. And, of course, as we know, they have done a good job with their defense for the most part, as the Saints have had the same kind of problems most of the year. They have had a better defense than offense. Here we go. Shuck with an incredible throw for the touchdown. Finally good to see. LSU, by the way, in our highlights, and Chris Olave. About time the guy didn't fall down. My cohort who's not with us today, JP, we always joke Chris Olave had trouble keeping his feet. He's an excellent wide receiver from Ohio State, and finally gets one and brings it to the house. That's got to be one of the longest hookups for the year for the Saints. Of course, as we know, here's the thing that I wish LSU did, the little dump off to the running back in flat, and lo and behold, they do a great job of doing that with the screen. And once again, the Panthers have a blocked field goal right there. That would have tied it up at 10-7. So Once again, another problem here with Carolina, as these Saints have a great stop and invariably will go down the field and win this football game by 17-7. Of course, there's Werner with an excellent game as always. By the way, Saints do have a favorable schedule the rest of the way. And once again, here we go with an INT, and that's how you get back to solidify the victory in this game, as we know one has been real good or he's been real bad. I don't know what that Heisman pose was, but he's having a little fun. And this is what you have to do, folks. This is what LSU can't do. They've got to get in there and finally get you another touchdown, as Juwan Johnson finally holds on to the football. He has had a bunch of drops this year, but the Tigers lead the country in drops. I'm not sure where the Saints are as far as drops go, but that's a quarterback's worst nightmare, to deliver it and drop the football. Wrapping it up on this show, we hope that all of you are doing well. Look like we will be back over here, hopefully, to talk about a win for the Tigers against Arkansas. As most of you know, the coaching rumors is still hot and heavy. My favorite, the guy I would love to see get an interview, would be the guy at Louisville, Jeff Brom. But there are other guys in the mix. Don't expect Nick Saban to take this job. He's just too old, and the game has changed so much. On the flip side, Lane Kiffin, he wants to come to LSU, but there's just so many hurdles. You have all the buyout money that you have to pay. We do feel like, talking to our legal experts, that the lawsuit with Brian Kelly and LSU will be settled before they go to court. Neither parties want to have that thing go out. So, and then of course you got to pay Scott Woodward $6.8 million because you let him go. So it has been a rough patch. One thing about it, though, you Tiger fans have gone through hurricanes and tsunamis and floods. Just be resilient. Show up. They need you in the stadium. Frank Wilson says, hey, come on over here, tailgate Friday night. Wake up, eat you some Manda sausage, have you a Bloody Mary, and we will talk again next week, hopefully for a game where LSU scores 30-plus and gets the victory over the Arkansas Razorbacks. We'll talk about it next week right here on Tigers Roar on Pelican Sports TV. See you next week, everybody.